Madam Chair, dear Emma, thank you so much for this invitation. I'm really proud because I know I am the fifth Prime Minister during the presidency who discussed with you after my friends Samaras and other colleagues. I think this is a great tradition now, and I believe very important. So just to give some point of discussions, and then I imagine the exchange some point of views with you and with your point of view. First of all, obviously, welcome to Italy. We are really happy for your presence here, and you are welcome in our country. I think really for Italy, this is a moment very particular because we have two goals. The first goal is change the approach of Europe, not as goal for our government, but for an absolutely priority for all the world and all the 28 countries. But Italy will be not believable if first Italy decided don't change herself. So our problem is exactly that. We are sure about the necessity to change Europe, but first we must change Italy. Because after a lot of years lost, this is the only words I can use, we must absolutely give the message of radical change in our country. So I'm sorry if let me start from the situation of my country, of our country, not because I give the priority to my country, but because I think this is the only way to be believable in the requests for Europe. The change in Italy is as a password to enter in the PIN code in the mobile. Without this approach, it's impossible to discuss about the future of Europe. Also, and this is very important, around the world, the priority of change also in Europe is not yet a priority of a request of Italy now. It's a request of G20 summit. Because if you follow the discussion in Brisbane last week, you verify very clearly the absolutely request of every country of participants of G20 summit to change direction from only austerity to a politics in direction of growth. So, first, Italy. We must give a message of radical change in 7 points. For me, the more important is the education. Not labor market, not fiscal system, not justice, not electoral law, not constitution. This is my personal point of view. I think I'm minority in this very important council, but I think it's minority also in my government if I said this. But fortunately, I'm the Prime Minister, so this is. I think the education is the most important problem for a lot of reasons. The quality of education in Italy is very high. It's not a problem. If I verify the quality of the engineering on the students are good, not negative. But the organization of this system is not at the level of our dream. And for this reason, this is the first. Education, fiscal system, our goal is make a fiscal system easier. Also because in Italy, make a fiscal system more difficult, it's impossible. So it's not very dramatic, make easier the fiscal system, in which it will be, obviously, my friend Giorgio, we must reduce the taxation, and we began in this direction. But first, it's important to give a message clear about the legislation and fiscal system, the possibility to say yes, yes, not, not, and avoid the lack of clear message in this field. Third, the fight against the public administration disruption, because we have a lot of things to change in this field. For the justice, because I think the true spread in this moment between Italy and the other more important country is exactly the spread of civil justice. If you think, and I think this is a problem, more or less for the first step of the civil process in the civil court, we have in France, UK, Germany, and USA more or less than 1 year to have the first judgment, more or less. In Italy, 943 days, 3 years. It's unbelievable. And for this reason, we began. We began with the innovation of ICT, the telematic process started, but obviously the real challenge in this moment is follow the implementation, because the reforms are clear, but the problem is every day, day by day, follow the implementation of those reforms. And last but not the least, obviously, the change of labor market system will be voted for the last time in, I think, 9 December, and will be adopted with the decree of implementation in January. So from January, we start also because we change the fiscal regime of labor market. We give this message very important of a reduction of taxation in the labor fields in Italy, and so the idea is provoke your colleagues in Italy and your business in Italy to give freedom against the traditional system in Italy. We cut the Article 18 with the symbol of a tradition in our country. We give the possibility to reduce the taxation in this if the people decide to invest in new jobs, and also a message of investment for the future. 5 reforms very important in the administration, and 2 reforms, electoral law and constitutional reform. If you think we have 139 articles in our constitution, we changed in the first lecture approved by the Senate, and now in discussion in the Chamber of Deputies, we changed 42 articles on 139. It's a real, very important change. I use the expression revolution because I think in the mind of Italian politics is absolutely a revolution. Also because this is a change in the role between central power and the local power. If you think about the role of regions in Italy, are not good as we think in the past. And so the new system could be a good opportunity. I can speak also about electoral law, but this could be a provocation. In other words, when I explain this our project, I use this expression. For the first time in Italy, the winner will be clear. The winner is the man or the woman who win. And the people look at me, you are crazy. It's normal in the elections. The winner is the man or the woman who wins. Really is not in Italy, because in the past, every time in the past was very difficult to understand in Italy who was the winner. I remember a joke, and the last election, 2013, the last political election, and I wasn't candidate. I was mayor, so I arrived after this election. Very complicated system, but I remember the election, the politics election was in 2013 in February, more or less in the same time of the election of new Pope. So, the Catholic Church changed the Pope in 2 weeks, very quickly, very clearly. A man was designed, was chosen, clearly. With the Italian electoral system, if the Italian electoral system was transposed in Vatican, we have 4 popes. I am the winner. No, I am the winner. But if you permit me a provocation, I think a lot of European systems in this moment are problem with the election. Just the time to explain a few words. Our model, our new model, approved by Chamber and now in discussion with the Senate, exactly in those days, are very interesting because with the second round and I don't enter obviously in the details, but with the decision clear of winner, this permits to winner to have for 5 years a good majority to realize the project. In this moment, if I verify your countries, the majority are without a clear choice. Because in Germany, in which Chancellor Merkel obtained the most important result from the time of Adenauer as number of votes, she's not able to have a majority for the system, for the single details in Germany. If I think about UK, for the first time after a lot of years, the Prime Minister Cameron was forced to have a coalition with Nick Clegg, and with the role of the fourth party, maybe third, I don't know, UKIP in the next election of 2015, I don't know if the numbers for the system, for the system of UK. In Spain, obviously now Rajoy have a good majority, but if Podemos or Socialist Party, obviously this is not my opinion, is simply the picture of the situation. With this system, we are not sure about the majority clear. So it's really important for Italy to have a clear majority, also because one problem is if you, in Germany and the UK, make an agreement and a deal between parties, all is clear for the next 4 years, 3 years, 5 years, depends. In Italy, it's not very clear, so I prefer avoid the possibility. I prefer avoid the coalition in Italy. The first party win, okay, I can lose the election, but with a clear message. Obviously, those 7 reforms together are the symbol of Italy must change. But, and this is the point, the crucial point, I think Europe must change. Europe is in a moment very problematic. I think that the stagnation is in every part of our economy. I believe a very confused situation in around the world, because we don't know, obviously, what could happen in Japan, in other countries. I know only that in the discussion about the future of global world, everybody forced us to give a message in direction of growth. I'm confident about the priorities of new Commission. This is a very clear message. I'm here as a representative of a government, but I represent also a party with the major numbers of votes in the last election. My party received 11.2 million votes, the most important around Europe. And I know the message I gave to my citizens. I gave a message pro-European Union, not against European Union. And the second party, CDU of Chancellor Merkel, 10.6 million votes, gave the different but the same message, pro-European Union. But the European Union must be in the heart of the citizen, and not only in the complicated and confused red tape of bureaucracy in Brussels. For this reason, the message in the digital market, in the innovation, in the high technology, in the education, must be a message able to unify, exactly as Erasmus was able to unify a generation of students. But for this, is absolutely important to avoid the discussion only about 0.1 in the budget. We respect the 3%. We are 2.6%. I'm not convinced that this is a good idea for Italian economy, but it's a message of credibility for my colleagues in Europe. I respect the limitation of Maastricht, but it's possible to affirm the word respect to Maastricht 1992 is changed. And we must discuss about a new paradigm of economy in which the investment in few fields could be the strategy for the next Europe. This is the point of discussion for 2015. Italian presidency tried to discuss about that. We support Juncker only after the decision of Juncker to give a message of change in this position and announce the investment plan. We will see the investment plan. I think the priority is cut of a limitation of stability, the 300 billion euro. But the crucial point is that if, and I conclude with that consideration, maybe everybody remember very well where was in the moment of Berlin Walls fell out 25 years ago. I remember my mother. My mother was in our house with watching the TV. And I remember my mother cried. It was a very emotional moment for me. I was 13 years old. I remember this moment as a crucial moment because in that moment, Europe's ideas showed the very importance and the very high quality. After 25 years, we are sure about Europe is a place of ideals and not only a place of a technical and bureaucratic approach. So we must absolutely give a new hope, a new vision of the dream European. I think Konrad Adenauer, Alcide de Gasperi, or François Mitterrand, Helmut Kohl don't build Europe to become a place in which the discussion is in the details. Build Europe as a place in which the strategy for the future must be at the high level of our dreams. And for this reason, I'm ready to discuss with you about the single point and the single issues. And thank you so much for your presence here.
Thank you, Matteo. So, Giorgio, you start with the first.
Dear President, dear Matteo, I would like to thank you for having accepted our invitation to join us today. For me, it's an honor to have you here in Confindustria. In your speech, you spoke about the role of Italy in Europe. In this respect, as President of Confindustria, I would like to thank you for the efforts you made so far to make Europe go beyond the dichotomy between
questions who bring together the future of Europe. So it's not very easy to be brief as I must be. Le président what is the expression of Confindustria in France? MEDEF. I remember a very speech of Manuel in the meeting of MEDEF last
Entreprise. J'aime l'entreprise. Oui, oui.
J'ai lu toute l'interview et je pense que c'est vraiment un...
C'était un très bon speech.
Absolument. Moi, tu n'es pas confident, vous n'êtes peut-être pas confident, attention, hein, c'est pas bon, votre idée sur la relation entre la confidence et les speeches et l'implémentation, c'est pas bon. I think we must absolutely invest in implementation and execution. I have two answers to give you. First is in Italy. For us, the attention to implementation is not easy, but is crucial. And I can show you a lot of examples, but for respect of your quality of life, I avoid. Really, in this moment, we have the problem in the implementation for the numbers of decreti attuativi. Decreti attuativi are the sub-laws we must approve after the approbation of law. We have a lot of problem with the bureaucracy for the respect timeline. For example, I force everybody, and I risk sometimes because I'm not able to maintain every date every month, because this is the only way with the bureaucracy in Italy to push up the reforms. We have a lot of problem in the implementations in the institutional reforms, but this is normal. I began my first speech in the Senate. You must consider I'm under 40, so in Italy I'm not able to sit in the Senate. And I bring the microphone, and the first speech was that. I decided this is the last time in which a prime minister came here for the vote of confidence because we surpass your role. It's not very elegant, respecting the position and the personality of the senators. But to give implementation is possible with a very strong determination. I think it's impossible to build a system of control, manage. There are not a software for that. The only way is maintain the big determination in this process. I explain my position with this statement. I can change Italy, but the alternative is change jobs. Because if I'm not able to change Italy, I will change job. So this maybe is an opportunity for Italy, but this is the message. I link my personal experience exactly to this process of reform, and this is the only way for me, from my personal point of view, to maintain the implementation of reform. Obviously, I can show you in 9 months a lot of things done, realized, concretely. But it's normal in this process, and also for the high expectations, we need the conclusion of process to show very clearly the strategy. Is a little piece of puzzle. Every day we push a piece of this puzzle. But to have the framework, I have clear the framework, but to show in every part the framework, in Italy we need, for my personal opinion, 3-4 months. And obviously the implementation needs 2-3 years to show in every part of a country the importance and the role. For the reform of Europe, I believe this is a question posed by President of France, but also Spain, Austria, and maybe also Sweden. My personal point of view is that reduce the stupidity is the first step. What is the reduction of stupidity for my country? I spoke about my country, speaking about my country. If I have the specific recommendation by European Commission, and in April, you know, every April Commission gives the specific recommendation to every country. I receive 8 specific recommendations. Fight against evasion, fiscal evasion. Okay. Pay the debts of public administration. Okay. My personal first battle is use the specific recommendation and give an answer clear and quickly. But if I receive 10 years of debt of public administration for the companies, I have the money, but if I spend this money, I have a new infraction for deficit. This is impossible, because if I follow the specific recommendation, I have an infraction in deficit. One different example, and I hope this could be solved. I ask, okay, but if I pay every day, every euro of public administration, is possible to don't count in this moment in the deficit because I go to accept a recommendation of European Commission? This is correct, this is right. If I must fight against evasion, can I have the reverse charge as possibility to control, not with the control in front of shops, but with the control of information communication technology, ICT, the system of payment? And this is obviously a message very strong against evasion in Italy. We think evasion in Italy is more or less 91 billion. This means 5.2 of GDP. Incredible. Can I use 1 billion, 1 billion point two to reduce the evasion with the reverse charge? We open a discussion because reverse charge is a problem, because the fiscal system of Europe. So I propose to use the flexibility of mind, not the flexibility of rules. I respect every rule. But if I must change my system of my fiscal system, and I'm not in condition to accept the specific recommendation if I'm not able to change reverse charge, so I think European Commission could accept the reverse charge in Italy. This is my purpose. Reduce the number of prescription of bureaucracy. And I have a lot of things. If in Terni, this regard German company and a Finnish company, 3 years ago, not this commission, blocked a process of merger and acquisition by a company in Terni from ThyssenKrupp, who decided to refuse the business in Terni, normal, to a very important Finnish company. So, a conclusion of agreement. I don't know. Maybe you're there. Autogroups, yes, but I don't remember who was the president of Confindustria. So 3 years ago, more or less.
Yeah, I was the president.
Okay. So conclusion, good for us, good, because the projects are clear, and operation win-win. The decision of European Commission was, no, this is a problem. Blocked for the antitrust. I don't know if this is correct. Now the company is out. 570 people are at home. So what is the correct vision of relation between the ideals of Europe and the rules? But we have the antitrust. Okay, I have 500 of people who stay at home. You can imagine Europe is a good idea for these people. Who is the man who bring the votes on the credibility, on the confidence of that people? This is the point for me. Use the intelligence. Because if we give the only possibility to technical approach, we are absolutely out of control. This is the role of politics. obviously depend, because everybody, we have a different position. For example, I decided to respect 3%, also if I'm not convinced about 3%. But I believe if Italy in this moment decide to surpass 3%, is not correct. But let me be very clear. The relation between that and growth, I give the answer to President of Austria, is not easy in a moment in which Italy comes from 3 years of recession. 2012, 2.3 negative GDP. 2013, 1.9 negative GDP. Now, 0.3 negative GDP. This is a recession, technically, for the first time in history, because without euro, Italy is out of recession. Now is in recession. But I think the presence in European institutions is very important for my country. So I respect the role. I try to respect the role. But if I am in recession, it's impossible to change the role of debt in this moment, because I have a primary surplus. In the last 20 years, 19 years on 20, Italy have a positive primary surplus. Nobody knows that. In the last 20 years, 19 years, positive primary surplus. But if I have in the last 3 years a negative growth, for me, without a positive growth, the relation between growth, between debt and GDP will be clearly negative. It's normal. It's a mathematical approach. So, if I am in a moment of crisis, I spoke with President Juncker in the last days, and I ask not in the. We are not. We don't ask a different position for Italy, for the debt of Italy, and we will continue to make that. No, we have a primary surplus also this year. We respect 3% also this year. But we think it's normal, a very important country in a very important continent are us in 0.3 negative, but other countries 0.2 positive. This is stagnation. This is the lack of growth. It's normal. It's a problem of Italy or it's a problem of Europe. Ah, but you must make the reform of Jobs Act and the labor market. I know, I make. But you, European businessmen, are you sure the problem today is the export? I think not. If I verify the result in 12 fields of the export, in 8 fields Germany is the number 1, in 3 Italy is the number 1, because Italy is the second country in this sector. We are one of the most incredible experience of quality of investment for the future, but without a strategy of growth in domestic market, internal market, we are condemned to growth, zero growth. So for this reason, and I go to very quickly in the conclusion, I believe the fourth strategy to reduce the gap between citizens and institution in Europe, reduce the risks of wrong messages. For example, I make my country example. If I'm not able to pay the debt because I have the problem of deficit, and if I pay the debt, this is a loop terrible for the credibility. For example, for Ast Interni, ThyssenKrupp, and decision by antitrust. For the president of Poland, I believe very important the women role around the Italian society in this moment. We invest in a team half men and half women in the politics. Unfortunately, now I choose a man. Unfortunately, sorry for Paolo, but I choose a man for the new Minister of Foreign Affairs after the decision to choose Federica as Minister, High Representative. I proposed Paolo to go to Casablanca. He refused. I don't know the reason. but we are able to invest in a different relation between men and women, above all in politics. And in the new electoral law, we have the presence of a gender law. Nobody could candidate more than less than 40% of men or women. For my party, this average, not for law, but for the political decision, will be 50%. So in my staff, in the party, I decided to have a 50%, a 50%. I received a lot of criticism for this is not correct, and so I decided, and I have now one woman more than men, so I changed the parity. This is very important for the business. This is important. My personal opinion, it's important also in newspaper, because I receive a lot of criticism by newspaper, and I read the first page of newspaper. I don't read a lot of articles of women, of journalist women, but this is not a reason of polemics. Also because also in this room, if you look yourself, I'm not sure this is a great benchmark. But, no, Emma, okay, one. Okay. Also in Germany, I know. I'm friend of Angela, so please. You risk a diplomatic crisis. And just to conclude about it, I think is absolutely important the role of women in the society, in the businessman, in businesswoman, more correctly, in the business sector. I explain my position about the reforms. I agree with President Kerber about the necessity to give a moral push in this direction. I don't know if the correct strategy is a meeting, a little summit on the article of few hands. I don't know what is the strategy. Also because, and this is the point open, the opening 28 of countries change deeply the modality of consensus also in our discussions. And the moral suasion in the direction of a passion who give credibility to process of European, for me, it's European integration, for me, is absolutely important. We achieved this goal in the elections, because in Italy the situation was very different from today, 6 months ago. Everybody explained in the newspaper, okay, the next winner will be Grillo, not your colleague in entrepreneur of association in Germany, your president. Is not here. You refuse the presidency. You refuse passport to Grillo. It's not Beppe. Giorgio, it's not Beppe. And
he's a good Grillo.
He's a good Grillo. I please journalists, don't use this expression of President Squints about the good Grillo, because there are also bad Grillo. This is the problem. Every Grillo is good. Okay.
Every Grillo is good.
Every Grillo is good, and I think we must try. A different approach, but I'm not sure if this could be a position of Germany, France, Italy, and Spain, because these risks, paradoxically, to have a lot of contrapositions, and so we must give the message of change. Clear. Let me be very frank with you and the other country. I spoke about it with Angela a lot of times. We must change language everywhere. For example, I won the election, explain the position against Angela Merkel of a party, some party of my country, are unacceptable. You know, Giorgio, you know, Emma, the poster in which the problem of Italy is Angela Merkel. No, The problem of Italy is the lack of reforms, is not the position of a German chancellor. The problem is in our side. And I fight against this position because I explain for a lot of things Germany is my model, is not my enemy. For some things Germany is my competitor. In the industrial sector, we have a lot of companies, above all in Northeast, in which the Germany are our competitor. In other fields, our colleagues, our clients, our customers. This is normal approach. For the same reasons, when the governor of Germany bank, I know this is independent, but this is a very bad message, said Italy and France are the children with the problems. This is expression. This is not, for me, is not a problem, maybe for the children with the problem, the relation with me, but this is not elegant also for the families. It's an expression very, very bad as message, very full of arrogance and lack of humanity. I think when the governor of a German bank said that, I think it's important to give a very clear message. This is not the modality in which we stay in the community. It's very clear, and I respect my people, and I'm proud of my people. And I don't accept a governor of different country explain about my country as a country with the children with the problems. This must be very clear, and respect means respect for everybody. And I conclude with the single question with the President of Sweden. I absolutely agree with you, more freedom is the only way. But more freedom don't means, in my personal opinion, the lack of politics strategy. Political strategy must be more freedom. Obviously, we can discuss what is more freedom in this moment. And for me, reduce the power of bureaucracy for the Italian entrepreneurs is the first way to give freedom. Reduce the taxation in Italy too higher is absolutely a way to give more freedom. But also maybe to involve in a discussion in which more freedom means more freedom also of the red tape of bureaucracy between states. When the people told me, the difference between 0.1 in the parameters, this is not more freedom. I respect the budget, I respect the role, I respect the law, because I think austerity, respect of debt, respect of budget is important, but I believe absolutely important to give this message. And to conclude, I think we must absolutely give a message to reduce the debt and to give new energy in the fight against unemployment. This is really a problem unbelievable. 7 years ago, average of unemployment in Italy is 7%. Now is 12.8, 12.7, depends. We lost 1 million of people, of jobs, 1 million of jobs in 6 years. In the last 6 months, because we lost 1 million of people from April 2008 to April 2014. 6 years, less than 1 million, more or less than 1 million. From April 2014 to October 2014, we come back to little peace because we have 153,000 jobs more. So it's a little symbol of change, but this is not sufficient. And I believe in this moment, without a negative growth, it's impossible to continue to reduce the debt with the surplus, with the primary surplus, but with a negative growth, it's impossible reduction of debt. And I have just one last consideration. Italian debt is a problem, obviously, 2 trillion euro, But we are the only one, also in this consensus, in which the private riches is 4 times, the private and public riches, as 4 times the public debt, 8 trillions. So this is not sufficient for us. We must reduce the debt. We must come back to parameters. Also, if in this moment nobody respects the parameters except 3-4 countries, in this moment in the 28 countries, I think only 4 respect 60% of parameters of Maastricht. We must absolutely come back. We must absolutely reduce. But without negative growth, this is impossible. So we must change, invest in the new direction, invest in the growth, and then reduce the debts. I believe believable 100% as the goal for the next years. But without a strategy, this will be impossible. And for this reason, I'm confident about the role of the Juncker Commission. I hope, and thank you so much for your presence. I hope you come back to Italy during the Expo 2015, because we have a lot of problems in Italy. The first is that, one of the problems is that we have a budget of export-import negative for energy. This is normal. We have also, if we invest in a different strategy with Africa, so I spoke a lot. But the real drama for us is the budget between import and export are negative also in the food. We make export for 31 billion euro, and we import 35 billion euro. This in Italy, it's absolutely unacceptable. So during Expo 2015, also the discussion about sustainability and planet and climate and everything, but also about business, because they absolutely come back to a different strategy also in this sector. And I will wait for you in Milan next year. Thank you so much for your presence here.